$70,000 in payouts so far in 4 months, and this strategy is part of it. Stick around because by the end of this video you're gonna know exactly how I did it. What's up guys, it's Tim here and I've been trading the Nasdaq for a while now and I want to be real with you in this video. I'm not here to sell you a dream, I'm here to show you what works, okay? Me and my students have pulled over $90,000 in payouts using this specific strategy. Not this strategy alone, but this is a huge part of it, okay? And today I'm gonna break it down for you completely. We're gonna go through the setup, the logic behind it, real chart examples, and I'm gonna show you exactly what my students and I are doing every single day to make this work. Oh, and I'm also gonna give away a $50 Tradify discount code at the end of this video, and I'll tell you how to enter the giveaway there, okay? So let's just get into it. Alright, so let me pull up the charts and show you exactly what we are looking for, okay? So basically this is a short explanation what this model is all about, okay? Basically it is the manipulation of the 930 opening candle, okay? Here you can see a picture, so we have the accumulation, we have the 930 open, we are trading the manipulation into the unmitigated high time frame fair value gap. And then we get the distribution lower because if we have a bearish bias or a bearish draw on liquidity, we are expecting lower prices and lower distribution, and therefore the 930 has to manipulate higher, okay? And there's always going to be like some sort of unmitigated fair value gap above that the 930 can manipulate into, and if that's not the case, I'm not going to take the model, okay? Because that's just an indicator that the price action is not that clean, and therefore I'm not trading. I think that's like clear. And yeah, it's basically the 930 PO3. If I have a bearish bias or a bearish draw on liquidity for the trading session, I'm expecting 930 manipulation to be higher, okay? So to manipulate into a unmitigated high time frame key level higher, so I open high, low, close. And if I have a bullish bias or a bullish draw on liquidity, I'm expecting the 930 manipulation lower, so I open low, high, close into a unmitigated high time frame key level. And the entry time frame or the entry is always between the 920 and 930, okay? So yeah, we are basically trading the open, and yes, I know now you're thinking yourself, okay, but that's like extremely risky. The New York session open is like extremely volatile. Yes, it is, but if you like keep trading the strategy and if you are going to backtest it, and when you are going to collect data with the strategy, you're going to see that it's not that difficult, because the 930, it always either manipulates, okay, or it distributes. And when does it distribute? When the manipulation already occurred. So let's say right here we have the 830 open and we have an SMT with 830 open with ES. That's a clear sign of manipulation, and that says to me the manipulation already occurred, and therefore I'm expecting 930 to distribute, okay? And yeah, so obviously the risk management depends on your financial situation. I do not want to get in much details into that, because it just depends. What I like to do is I like trading the strategy with evaluation accounts, and I am half porting the accounts basically. So I always go for a 1.5k winning day, because as we know, Top Step, Lucid, Alpha Advanced, they always have a 1.5k like limit that you can make on the day, so a 50% consistency on the evaluation stage. And yeah, that's basically what I am doing. I don't recommend you doing this, because you have to like have the discretion with the model and like the time, or also the journaling and the backtesting with the model, and that's something that you don't have yet, and therefore I don't recommend you doing this. Yes, the entry trigger stays in the mentorship, okay, because I do want to have some exclusive stuff for my students. Yeah, just like I'm showing you the fundamentals, but like the entry trigger and what tells me to enter the trade, that's going to stay inside the mentorship. The stop loss should always be high resistance liquidity, and the take profit should always be a unmitigated high time frame fair value gap. I'm going to go into that in a minute on the charts. And obviously the SMT is the cherry on top, okay? I do not need an SMT for trading the strategy, but it's just another confluence for me that is just a better version of the model, okay? So it's basically the A+ version of the timNQ model if we have an SMT with the model, okay? Here you can see also a short drawing. So accumulation, we're trading in manipulation, and then we get the distribution lower. This is the 9:30 30-minute high time frame candle, and here we have the bearish version, accumulation, manipulation lower. We are trading the manipulation, and then we get the distribution higher again, okay? And yeah, this is also what I went over. If we have a bearish draw or bearish bias, I'm expecting the 9:30 manipulation to be higher, so a open high, low, close. If we have a bullish bias and a bullish draw on liquidity, I'm expecting the 9:30 to manipulate lower and have a open low, high, close. The entry is always between 9:20 and 9:30. And yeah, as I said, the A+ scenario is the best drawn liquidity for trading this strategy is if we have a unmitigated high time frame fair value gap, a 15-minute, 30-minute or 1 hour unmitigated fair value gap that 9:30 can manipulate into and then distribute out of if we have clear draws on liquidity in the other direction, okay, that the 9:30 is manipulating to. So I'm just gonna go into some chart examples, and then I'm going to show you also some executions. Here we have the first example of trading the timNQ model, okay. I'm going to be on the 5-minute time frame because I do not want to show my exact entry confirmation, but as we can see, accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution lower. I did catch also this distribution lower, but that's not the timNQ model because the timNQ model is the manipulation, okay. So as we can see, the manipulation also worked out. My entry was here. I targeted the unmitigated 1 hour, I think, that we had right here, and it worked out perfectly. And yeah, basically it's the manipulation of the 30-minute PO3 and 30-minute New York session open every day. As you can see here, we have the 9:25, but if I would go down on the 1 minute, this is already the 9:30 candle right here, this next candle. And we can see the next candle, so the 9:30 open re-swept the high, so we have another manipulation right here inside this high time frame fair value gap, basically, because we are trading inside this 1 hour, okay, right here, and we get the manipulation again for the 9:30 PO3, and then we get the distribution lower. But that's just the first example. I'm gonna show you a few more. Here another example, we were trading before 9:30 open inside this 15-minute fair value gap. My entry was right here when I saw this displacement out of it, and this is not an A+ example. Why? First of all, we didn't have an SMT, and second of all, we didn't have like a unmitigated fair value gap as a draw for the manipulation, okay? So what did happen? I targeted these two data highs right here with the timNQ model, and it did work out, but as I said, this is not the A+ version of this model. Let's go right here. We have a extremely clean timNQ model. Basically, you can see it's always the same. Accumulation, then we get a bearish candle, that's the entry. I put my stop loss right here. I was targeting a unmitigated 1 hour fair value gap, okay, because I did have a bullish drawn liquidity, which was this CPI data high on the 14th of April. As we can see, the model played out perfectly again. Accumulation, manipulation, and then the distribution. Then this is an example, okay, where I don't want to trade the timNQ model or the 9:30 open. Why? Because we are in an expansion phase. And that just means I don't know where the 9:30 is going to manipulate into, okay, because we do not have an accumulation before the 9:30 open. So we are just expanding, and therefore I'm not confident in the timNQ model and where the manipulation is going to be, and therefore I'm not going to take the trade. It's pretty simple. but I have also a few more examples right here. We can see accumulation, manipulation, and then the distribution. In this example, the distribution didn't play out. And this was also not an A+ version because I was just targeting this 5-minute internal high right here. Okay, so this is not an A+ version because, as I said, the A+ version is always going to be when we have a 15-minute, 30-minute, or 1 hour for value gap to manipulate into and then distribute out of, because in this on this day I did have like an extremely bearish bias, and therefore I wanted to see manipulation higher, and it did work out. But as we can see, the distribution lower, it didn't work out. Okay, but obviously I do not care about the distribution if I already catch the manipulation. So yeah, on this day we can see accumulation. I was trading the manipulation right here. I did get stopped at break even because when I'm this much in profit, okay, like when I see, let me just draw it out, I am like 50 points in profit, I'm gonna go break even. Okay, it's just like clear for me. If price wants to reverse right here, just stop me out of break even. Okay, and yeah, and the price continued lower again, so this is a break even, and let's just continue lower. Perfect example, another extremely clean day, accumulation. Where is 930 going to manipulate into? If we have a bearish bias, which we did on this day, manipulation higher. Okay, and as you can see, the distribution lower. It's just pretty simple. It's always the same every day. Here we have the 925, my entry, trading the manipulation, again accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. I think you're getting the strategy and how it works. Okay, so yeah, okay, now I'm gonna show you some chart examples where I traded this strategy, and I'm going to explain it to you. So basically here you can see the top step dashboard with 5 combines. Okay, I really like to trade this strategy with combines or with evaluations in general. We can see accumulation, manipulation of the 930 candle. I was trading the 930 open, and obviously I had a bullish bias on this day, so the manipulation lower makes sense. And we also had a unmitigated 30-minute fair value gap for 930 to manipulate into. Here the example on TradingView. This is an example where the manipulation already occurred. So we had an SMT with Asia highs with 830 open, which was right here, and I was trading the manipulation, the distribution lower. Okay, because if the manipulation already occurred, 930 is going to distribute. And my draws in this case were these relative equal lows, London low, and an unmitigated 30-minute fair value gap. In this example, I did take the manipulation and the distribution because I was just so confident in my draw and liquidity being lower. So I entered long for the manipulation, and then I immediately entered short for the distribution because my draw was so clear and my bias was also extremely bearish. So yeah, that makes sense, right? And here another example, execution on trade C, by the way. And in this case we had an SMT with this high right here with ES, okay, and we edged these 4-hour unmitigated fair value gap right here, and obviously we also had relative equal lows. So what is 930 going to do? It's not going to manipulate if the manipulations already occurred, but it's going to distribute lower. So these were like a few chart examples, and yeah. Okay, so now you've seen the strategy, you've seen the examples on the charts, and I know what you're thinking, Tim, this looks simple. I can just go trade this, right? And honestly, you could try. But here's what I haven't shown you yet. And this is the part that actually separates the profitable trades from the ones that hit stop loss, okay? And it's basically my entry confirmation. That's the filter. That's what tells me this setup is, I'm going to take this setup, and this is a setup I'm probably going to fade, but because that's extremely important. And I'm not gonna share that here in this video because that is something I only teach inside my mentorship, as I already mentioned. I do want to have some stuff exclusively for my students, but everything else I've just shown you, that's real. That's the foundation. So you can already see these are my payouts, and this isn't something from 2 years ago. This is like consistent, and this is what happens when you have a real edge. and obviously you stick to your edge. And this is not just me. I'm showing you this not to flex. I'm showing you this because I want you to understand that this is repeatable and this isn't luck. This is a system that actually works. And as I mentioned, this is not just me, because also my students, and these are not all my payouts, but these are just a few. Like right now I'm at 76k in payouts these last 4 months. And yeah, these are just a few that you can see that I'm not just talking bullshit. And here you can also see like my students, how they are doing. Alex is basically clearing his first 12k month after joining the program 2 weeks in. And Silas right here taking payouts with Lucid. Obviously Alex is crushing it on Top Step. Silas again with Take Profit Trader. Alex just completely smashing it with Top Step. Then we have a student who's just enjoying the free Discord. And yeah, if you're not already joined the free Discord, I do recommend you joining the Discord because it has a lot of value and a lot of people with the same mindset and the same goal. So yeah, just join it and it's completely free. And if you're watching this and you are serious, like actually serious about getting funded and making consistent money trading, then I do want to work with you, okay? I have a few spots left in my one-on-one mentorship right now, and you're gonna get the full strategy, including the entry confirmation. I mentioned weekly calls with me, personally, trade reviews, live trade recaps, everything you need to go from where you are right now to your first payout. The link is in the description to apply for a call where you will get all the details. And yeah, if you want a solid platform to copy all your trading accounts together, this by just executing on one account, I personally use Tradecopia. And the link is also in the description, and you can use my code TIM for a 30% discount. And yeah, now for the giveaway, it's going to be a $50 Tradeify discount code, and how to enter is basically extremely simple. You have to follow me on IG, you have to follow me on X, on YouTube and on TikTok. And my ad is written right here. And very important, comment funded under this YouTube video, and obviously like the YouTube video. And yeah, that's basically it. The giveaway, I'm going to share the winner on my Instagram story in like 7 days. And yeah, if this video added value, drop a like. Seriously, it helps me more than you think, and it helps me keep making content like this. So subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I will start posting consistently, and I'm not gonna waste your time. So see you in the next one.